forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
All right, not as cold tonight. We are finally not going to break a record tomorrow morning, which is some great news. A lot of cloud cover around helping to keep temperatures up a little bit with readings in the 20s. Not bad. 25 in Champaign, 29 in Decatur. This time last night, the temperature was 5 degrees. Okay, so a big difference. 16, though, is the wind chill. Got to factor that in on the way out the door in the morning. May fall a few degrees. We're thinking low 20s to start the day. We actually get above freezing tomorrow. We'll talk about that. And overall, a pretty calm forecast. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
One person did a kind act for a man who's homeless. What police say the man did after that sent him to jail.
We see the sickest of the sick dogs.
But this one is going to get the happy ending she deserves. Who's taking this once abandoned dog home?
Paying collegiate athletes is a hot topic. Why it's cooled down at the State House.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. A homeless man is being charged with aggravated battery. 58-year-old Scott McBride is accused of propositioning an 11-year-old boy at a hotel in Champaign. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is live in the newsroom. So Jennifer, why was McBride at this hotel to begin with?
Jessica, police discovered that someone had seen McBride on the street outside the Hyatt Place Hotel and paid for him to stay there for 3 nights. On Monday, the child's parents went outside to smoke while their son went back to their room. McBride was reported to have entered into an elevator with that boy. That's when he allegedly rubbed the boy's back and asked him, "Don't you want to come to my hotel room?" The boy got off the elevator and told McBride he would call police. Officials later found out that McBride went back to the bar and he was taken into custody. The Champaign County State's Attorney's Office says McBride is a registered sex offender in another state. He pleaded not guilty to this most recent charge in court on Tuesday. The judge ordered him to have no contact with the boy or the hotel. If found guilty, he could face penalties from probation to 2 to 5 years in prison. In the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Jennifer, thank you. Other news tonight, a former teaching assistant at Circle Academy in Urbana is accused of sexually assaulting a teenage student. Investigators say 23-year-old Alyssa Gustafson had a relationship with a 14-year-old boy, which lasted between March and August. We talked with the student's mother today, who says school leaders brought the issue to her attention and called DCFS. She had no idea her son had been in this relationship, but says her son admitted to it after she asked about it.
I'm very upset because this is someone that the kids are supposed to be able to trust on a daily. How are kids going to come to you if something's happening at home? How are they going to feel comfortable coming to a teacher, whether it's happening at home, outside of home, or whatever might happen to them?
She did not want her face shown for privacy reasons. DCFS says they can't comment, but Circle Academy sent a statement saying, quote, "As with all new hires, we conduct extensive background checks on our employees and have verified that all appropriate checks were completed in this case."
3 teenagers from Urbana are accused of stealing a car. They were arrested near West Penn and 2nd Avenue after leading Hoopeston police on a short chase Sunday. Police say they found a gun inside the car. 18-year-old Tyrell Pettis was taken into custody along with a 17-year-old and 15-year-old. Police tried to pull them over, but they didn't stop. The car lost control, hitting a sign and a house. New at 10, a firefighter was hurt after a massive house fire. It happened on West Garfield Avenue near Taylor Street just after 5. When firefighters were called to the scene, they found a wood frame house consumed by flames. One of the firefighters hurt his ankle after falling through a hole in the floor. A cat and dog died in the fire. The person living there is now staying with a relative. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Police are investigating after more than 80 dogs were found in a home in Champaign. They got a tip about the house on West Springfield Avenue by South Russell. The dogs were all living in what animal control described as unsanitary and poor living conditions. The county executive says about 20 dogs are expected to be transferred to the Humane Society this week. A sad beginning to this story has a happy ending that is getting happier.
We first introduced you to this dog last Saturday. She was found floating in a crate in Kaufman Lake in Champaign, rescued by a man who saw her while fishing. When she started to heal and went to animal control, she was called Poppy. But now she officially has an owner, and he's got a different name in mind. WCIA3's Emily Braun is here. Emily, this story has gotten a lot of attention around the country.
Jessica, we first brought you this story on the 2nd, and since then it's been shared thousands of times, gaining PETA's attention and the attention of a certain Hollywood talk show host. Brian Fritz made an appearance on The Ellen Show today, where he talked about his experience rescuing this puppy. During the interview, he revealed that he will be her owner once she's made a full recovery. I called and confirmed that with Animal Control this afternoon. He also revealed he plans to name her Dory because she just kept swimming. When he first picked her up, he didn't think she was going to make it, but the U of I Vet Med Clinic put her on the road to recovery. So with the national attention this story is getting, we circled back with the veterinarian who first cared for her.
We see the sickest of the sick dogs, and so getting this happy ending, it just allows us all to remember why we do what we do and kind of rejuvenates us a little bit into the fact that, like, we have a purpose. Dory now had a purpose for us. She has a purpose for Bryant and Crystal, and we get to continue doing what we love to do.
Fritz also surprised his girlfriend on The Ellen Show with a proposal, and he left Hollywood with a fiance. And to see what other surprises were in store for Brian and Crystal, we have that full interview on our website, WCIA.com. And to round out this story, veterinarians think Dory will be able to come home with Fritz by the end of this week. Jessica.
What an incredible ending. And if you haven't seen that full interview that's on our website, you have to go. We were all tearing up in the newsroom over it.
It's really good.
It was great. All right, Emily, thank you so much. We have a follow-up now to a story we first brought you last night. The Decatur School District says it's working on new procedures after a 5-year-old was left at the wrong bus stop Monday. The bus driver called All-Town Bus Services after realizing what happened to the kindergartner. The school district's director of operations met with the child's family and the bus company today. They say they're working with All-Town to make sure this never happens again.
Airplane mechanics packed a committee hearing in Springfield today to send the governor a message: don't jeopardize our jobs. The governor has threatened to veto a bill that would forgive private jet repair shops for roughly $50 million in unpaid sales taxes. The companies say they didn't know they owed the taxes, and the State Department of Revenue didn't catch it until March. The jet owners, who should have paid the tax when they bought the parts for their plane, are long gone, and the repair shops say it could devastate their businesses if they got stuck with the bill.
We do all the heavy inspections on, all the private jets and everything, but, we're definitely not the ones flying in them. We're just there to collect our paycheck,
Despite Governor Pritzker's veto threat, the Senate Revenue Committee still voted unanimously to approve the plan to forgive the repair shops of 5 years of unpaid sales taxes. Senator Don Harmon says if Pritzker vetoes the measure, the Senate should override that veto.
2 diplomats who have served presidents in both political parties testified in the House impeachment inquiry today. It's the first day of public hearings, and lawmakers heard perhaps the clearest link yet between President Trump and an order to investigate the Bidens. Nicole Killian has more from Capitol Hill.
Do you swear or affirm that the
Bill Taylor, the top American diplomat in Ukraine, testified publicly Wednesday. A member of his staff overheard a phone call between President Trump and Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland. Taylor told lawmakers the president asked the ambassador about the investigations.
Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden.
House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff pushed further.
I take it the import of that is he cares more about that than he does about Ukraine. Yes, sir.
Republican Jim Jordan tried to dismiss Taylor's testimony as hearsay.
You didn't listen on President Trump's call and President Zelensky's call?
I did not.
You've never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney?
I never did.
You never met the president?
That's correct.
This is what I can't believe, and you're their star witness.
I know nothing about that.
President Trump said he couldn't recall his conversation with Sondland. He also told reporters he didn't watch any of the testimony, despite tweeting about it all day.
It's all third-hand information, nothing direct at all. It can't be direct because I never said it.
Both Bill Taylor and fellow witness George Kent called the freezing of aid to Ukraine a threat to U.S. national security. Kent also singled out the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
In mid-August, it became clear to me that Giuliani's efforts to gin up politically motivated investigations were now infecting U.S. engagement with Ukraine.
Kent and Taylor were both asked if they were never Trumpers. Both replied no. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The embassy staffer who overheard the president's phone call is set to testify behind closed doors on Friday. More public hearings are set for that day as well.
Some organizations hope to bring home the bacon, but one got some help from a restaurant that deals in fried chicken.
Plus, a State House plan would end the need to turn back your clocks every year, what that would mean for people on the Illinois border.
And Illinois basketball has a reason to celebrate, who's signed to play for them today.